Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the three-horse race currently going on now for constitutional carry and who gets number 26, 27, and 28, respectively, when it comes to constitutional carry states. Specifically, South Carolina apparently has now decided to enter the race because they want to beat Florida when it comes to constitutional carry, so that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and read this little article here, which is Race is on as South Carolina GOP pushes to pass constitutional carry before Florida does. Which, again, who's to say that Nebraska wouldn't beat both of them and become 26, since they've had it on their docket since basically the beginning of the year is what it is. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see which one of them gets it first. So, anyway. As it says here, it said, races on. South Carolina Republicans push for their state to adopt constitutional carry before Florida does. Breitbart News noted on January 30th that legislation was introduced in Florida in hopes of making the Sunshine State the 26th constitutional carry state. Then, the Breitbart News was then ordered that South Carolina Republicans are working hard to beat out Florida for the 26th position. South Carolina State Rep Bobby Cox from Greenville is sponsoring H3594, titled the South Carolina Constitutional Carry / Second Amendment Preservation Act of 2023. Holy fucking shit, dude. They're becoming a two-way sanctuary on that one. That is going to be fucking awesome. That would be awesome, dude. It says H3594 would make the Palmetto State the next constitutional carry state, and the bill already has more than 60 co-sponsors. Said Cox spoke to Breitbart News, said, our founding fathers never intended for law-abiding citizens to get a permission slip from the government for self-defense. Passing this bill shows our commitment to restoring and protecting our Second Amendment freedoms and preventing crime in South Carolina. That is what a good constitutional sounds like, by the way, for people that are in office right now. So South Carolina House Speaker and constitutional carry co-sponsor Merrill Smith from Sumter commented, saying, quote, crime is a top worry for the constituents of our state. Passing H3594 will allow more options for families to protect themselves while fully restoring our two-way freedoms. This is a good thing for South Carolina and should strike fear into those who wish to commit crimes with firearms. And obviously it says there are currently 25 constitutional carry states in the United States, being Alabama is number 25 most recently, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, which became 22 and 22 and totally fucked over Ohio, which made us 23 and 22. Idaho, Indiana, which was 24. Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, North Dakota. Like I said earlier, Ohio became the 23rd last year. Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, which was 21 and 21, and people should have ran on that one, by the way, for office in 2022. Utah, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wyoming. The race for the 26th constitutional carry state is now underway, which is funny that they don't even mention Nebraska, dude, because, like, the thing is, Nebraska's on the list, dude. Like, Tom Brewer there, the dude that's, like, in there, I think he's our state senator, if I'm not mistaken, there in Nebraska. He's already said straight up, he's like, here's my bill for the year is what it is, because every single person there in that General Assembly has one. You can basically introduce, like, one priority bill, I think is what it's called, or something like that, and that's what his was this time around. And he was the one that was the sponsor last time around for the whole thing. And the only reason that Nebraska didn't get theirs in 2022 was because of the fact they ran out of time in their General Assembly, and you had the governor at the time, who was no longer in office because he was terminated out or whatever at the end of the year here, did not allow for an actual special session then, because if he had, they would have gotten it last year is what it is. And I would think, honestly, with that recent, attack at the super target where the cops had to smoke that guy to stop a fucking massacre from happening, like, now would be the time to pass it in Nebraska, honestly, in response to that shit. It's just like how Ohio passed ours after Dayton, Texas passed theirs after El Paso. What better time than to actually strike while the iron's hot is what it is, dude. People talk about change and stuff like that, or they want to run on emotion and push gun control and stuff like that through. It's like, nah, we do the opposite, dude. We need to push for two-way rights at this point in response to any tragedy or any prevented tragedy is what it is. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets 26 and 20, 23 here, and who becomes 27, 28. I'm probably going to make a new t-shirt, actually, one of these days soon, where it will be the race to 26, and they'll just have, like, pictures of, like, Nebraska, South Carolina, and Florida on them and stuff like that. Or maybe just have, like, I don't know. I was going to say pictures of the governors of the states, but then that would be kind of weird because I think they'd be, like, trademark infringement probably, so probably just the state is what it is. Or maybe just have it be, like, the names of the states or whatever, like Florida, Nebraska, South Carolina, race to 26. And that's like constitutional carry underneath or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what I do for framework yet, but either way, fucking awesome. Another thing before we go today, which I thought was pretty cool, and this is something that should have been happening yesterday, which we talked about in the last couple episodes actually, which was Ilhan Omar's dumb cunt ass finally got kicked out of the Foreign Affairs Committee. A long party line vote. Of course, AOC went all fucking retard about it and basically became a full race pimp is what it is. And honestly, both of them, along with the rest of the squad, should be kicked out of Congress at this point over this crap, dude. Enough is enough of this shit. It is time to have actual votes on the House floor of 400 something members and boot their asses out like 222 to 212 or whatever then. Because, first of all, Omar shouldn't even be in this country. She is a literal child soldier. Her father was a military general in Somalia, and she was underneath him in that war. And yet she was given citizenship into the sky early. So, and like I said, then you had that dumbass Cortez basically go full race pimp is what it was. I'm probably going to talk about it a little bit more in the next episode, but yeah, it's just absolute crap entirely, dude. Oh, actually, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and read part of this. Oh, because it's actually involved Ohio. So, yeah, we're definitely going to read part of this actually right now. Yeah, it says, House voted Thursday along party lines to remove Ilhan Omar from her seat on the Foreign Affairs Committee. She shouldn't be on any committee at all because she shouldn't be in Congress right now. It is what it is. The only reason this woman's even in Congress is because you had Obama drop literal fucking tens of thousands of Somali terrorists into Minnesota that became the district that she represents right now, dude. That's the only reason she's in Congress at all right now. It's just like how you have Islamic terrorists in the Ohio General Assembly right now, only because they have fucking a big-ass population down in Columbus area, which they wouldn't even be there if you had one seat in Franklin County for a General Assembly instead of fucking 11. So, but anyway, let's see, where is that now? Yeah, so long party line votes to unseat her from Foreign Affairs Committee through a resolution that cites her past derogatory remarks about Jewish people and anti-Israel posture. Said vote passed 218 to 211, with all Democrats voting against the resolution and one Republican, Dave Joyce, voting present. Yeah, Dave Joyce is a fucking scumbag. He's one of the people from Ohio that is a fucking scumbag, legitimately, dude. And I'm not surprised that he pulled some shit like that, honestly, dude, because he is just a fucking rhino. Again, that's what we have for politicians for decades in office, which Dave Joyce is at this point. I think, if not mistaken, he was actually part of our General Assembly like a decade ago or more. Yeah, I want to say it was like the early 2000s maybe or something. He was in the Ohio General Assembly as like a state rep or state senator or something like that. And he's one of the reasons why we didn't have constitutional carry back then, because he was basically fucking around and fucking with our constitutional rights is what it was, dude, to keep and bear arms in the state. So, yeah, and that's the problem. They keep getting voted up because they keep having money back fucking behind them with party votes is what it is, dude, and party politics, and it's all establishment bullshit is what it is. It needs to be ended immediately is what it is being, dude, seriously. So anyway, so the vote is a win for House Republicans, who had a slim majority in the chamber after a few from their conference initially objected to the resolution. 3 who had vocally opposed it were Representatives Victoria Spretz in Indiana, Nancy Mace is a piece of shit from South Carolina, and Ken Buck from Colorado. That guy's a fucking scumbag rhino too. But they had apparently flipped their votes by Thursday morning. Yeah, probably, oh, well, if you do this, you'll make it on this fucking committee or something like that would be my guess, honestly, is what it is. So, anywho, says Majority Whip Tom Emmer from Minnesota, a key player in the successful whip operation, told Breitbart News in an exclusive statement that Omar, a fellow Minnesotan, had, quote, no place representing American interests on Foreign Affairs Committee. She has no place being in America, period, guy. Said, quote, there is no debate that Ilhan Omar, the face of anti-Semitism in the Democrat Party, has no place representing American interests in the Foreign Affairs Committee. Miss Omar is an embarrassment to Minnesota and our country. Yeah, she's an embarrassment to our country because she's not a fucking American. She's a Somalian terrorist, legitimately. And of course, you had Omar during her own stupid fucking speech, was promoted, despite a history of anti-Semitism rhetoric, days after Democrats booted Marjorie Taylor Greene from the committees. Yeah, of course it was, dude. That was back in 2022. It says vote is also a victory for Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who first indicated he would strip Omar of her committee seat in an interview with Breitbart News more than a year ago, at the time saying Ilhan Omar should not be serving in foreign affairs. This is a new level of what the Democrats have done. Really, he should have gone further than that and been like, she has no business serving in Congress, or this country for that matter at all. So, said House voted mostly on partisan lines to strip Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gozer of their committee assignments in 2021. Okay, that's what it was, 2021. I thought it was faster in 2022. So yeah, it was back in 2021, 2 years ago. Said then Speaker Nancy Pelosi also rejected 2 of McCarthy's choices on the January 6th Select Committee, because it was a bullshit fucking stance is what it was. Anyways, it says one of the Republicans who had initially opposed booting Omar from the committee, Victoria Spratz, credited McCarthy with adding, quote, due process language to the resolution on Omar to convince her to flip her vote. Said the Rules Committee ranking member Jim McGovern from Massachusetts said, quote, per the Hill, that the notion this resolution has any due process is simple bullshit. Yeah, says the motherfucker who literally voted for every omnibus bill in the past fucking 15 years probably at this point. At least the last 4 to 5 years that took, trillions of dollars to our national debt and stuff like that, and through all kinds of pork stuff bullshit in every single one of them from countries overseas is what it is, dude. It doesn't do a damn thing to help American citizens at all, and just hyperinflates our fucking economy. Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit entirely, dude. Fuck you, Jim McGovern, you douchebag. Fucking Democrat from Massachusetts, typical fucking anti-gun fuckboy. Anyways, his Republicans' opposition to Omar serving on the committee comes after a 2-term Minnesota Democrat gained a reputation for promoting anti-Semitism tropes, such as claiming Israel had hypnotized the world and that support for Israel was, quote, all about the Benjamins. That's the one I will kind of almost agree with her on that one in some cases. Like, gonna say that honestly right now, dude, because that is the truth. Like, you have so many people that are actually elected to Congress to represent the American people, yet will go blow Israel every chance they get is what it is, dude. And it's like, why, So she might be a little bit spot on about that one to some extent. Not all the way, but some extent. Anyways, as Omar later apologized for the remarks, but continued to take vocal anti-Israel support or anti-Israel positions. In 2019, she introduced a resolution that supported the anti-Israel boycott, disinvestment sanctions, or BDS movement. 2021, she lumped atrocities supposedly committed by the U.S. and Israel, in which those committed by the Taliban, or which those were committed by the Taliban and Hamas, equating the U.S. and its Middle East ally to the 2 terrorist groups, led to condemnation from her own party's leadership, and again, resulting in Omar's apologizing. That right there should have tossed her ass out of Congress entirely, dude, back in 2021, and potentially looked at stripping her U.S. citizenship and exiling her from this country permanently for life after that shit. Anyway, Dizon says later in 2021, Omar was one of just 9 members of the House to vote against a $1 billion investment in Israel's defense system, the Iron Dome system, which, again, if they're paying for it, who cares, man? It says Omar also made headlines in 2019 for remarks she made at a conference hosted by the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAR, which is another terrorist fucking front, by the way. Said Omar, who is Muslim, said the group, quote, was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties. Yeah, some people did something. Some of your terrorist fucking buddies literally bombed the shit out of our fucking Twin Towers, you dumb cunt. Like, again, that right there, 2019 should have tossed her ass out of fucking office, dude, in this country. And then it continues on there and talks about other stupid shit, but yeah. She needs to go, man. She needs to go, seriously. She needs to be tossed out of this country and thrown back to Somalia where she fucking belongs. And the same thing with the rest of these assholes, dude. Enough is enough, allowing fucking literal foreign standing armies on our country's soil that are going to be against the American people if and when a civil war starts in this nation. So, yeah. But we will talk about probably the AOC thing later with her stupid ass remarks and stuff. But as it is right now, I don't really want to get into it too much. But needless to say, it was interesting. I'm glad that it happened, honestly. I'm glad they kicked her off at least the Foreign Affairs Committee at this point. And, you know, for those that follow me on Twitter, I've already said on the Twitter account, like, she needs to be booted out of this country entirely, is what it is, dude. So, but anyway, same thing with Cortez and company. So, but yeah, that's where we're at for today, though. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see who gets constitutional carry first, though. If it be South Carolina, Nebraska, or Florida. And hopefully all three of them will by the end of the year. Here is what it is. Probably by, I think it's actually, technically, I think Florida right now has within the 90-day time span now currently is what it is. So it would be like between now and like the end of March, if I'm not mistaken, when they have to put it through is what it would be. And then I think it's the same thing with Nebraska. I'm not sure how South Carolina's General Assembly is right now, if it's like sort of that weird like 90-day limit or if it's like some like year-round thing or whatever. So they could potentially have it for like longer to get it through or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see which one of them actually does it first, and then if the other two follow suit, if that be the case then. And hopefully, like I said, by summertime this year, we'll have 3 new constitutional carry states and be up to 28 then. And I'll tell you right now, if we get to 30 plus, like it's time to do it's time to do a convention of states at this point, dude, and force the other ones to get on board and be having the whole nation of constitutional carries what it is. So anyway, other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all in the next one.